while I pondered, weak and weary, over many curious volume of forgotten lore. Suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping upon my chamber door. 'Tis the Raven Society, nothing more. The hour, my good friends and colleagues, is midnight. Dark has fallen, the petty trials of the day have been won or lost, and the Raven Society can now be called to order to conduct its annual business. We work by night, the stars and moon guiding our way unfettered by the mundane concerns of the day-to-day world. Ours is the role of night, and ours is the most serious duty demanding our most careful attention. To this end we have gathered at Dickens' house, cut off from the rest of the world for 3 days and nights. Here we will ponder the fate of the mysteries of the year, 382 to be exact, all published in this country. One will be deemed the best and earn the Smoking Gun Award. It'll be guaranteed an honor place on our library shelf after earning its author a fortune. The other will be deemed the worst, and a dagger shall be thrust into it. It'll be condemned to obscurity out of print, its epitaph. But before we commence with our sacred charge, we must first conduct our annual business. First, our roll call. We fully understand, of course, that our identity is secret even unto ourselves. I only know you as the author you portray. You only know me as Edgar Allan Poe, and I'm present, as you can all plainly see.
We're getting dang tired of listening to you.
Mark Twain is obviously present.
For better or worse, I still can't understand why you can't smoke a good cigar, or a bad one for that matter.
Really, Mr. Twain, it would be very difficult for some of us to concentrate through a haze of blue smoke.
Everything you wrote, Mrs. Bronte, was a haze of blue smoke.
My life, Mr. Twain, was a vale of tears. First losing mother, then losing Maria and Elizabeth.
Who are those? Your chow-chows?
My sisters, you hopeless poor.
Really, Mr. Twain, we must have some compassion for such poor women.
Ah, Miss Alcott, how good of you to come.
I would have promised all grapes and concord.
At least there's some understanding of the human heart.
All you need, you English crumpet, is a cigar to get the smoke right through your veins. To get the thermos through that metal-headedness of yours.
My thermostat is set to low, exactly the way I like.
May I continue with roll?
No one said you couldn't.
As I was saying, Mark Twain is obviously present, Miss Bronte is present, Louisa May Alcott is here, and how was the family?
My sisters and their well. Thank you. And you, Mr. Bell, how goes it with you?
I have my good days and bad days.
I know what you mean. When the sun is shining and the daffodils are smiling, we all feel better.
Those are my bad days. I long for night, dark and damp, a heart beating loudly, thunder and lightning in the distance, weather made to order for the Raven Society. Now, have you ever heard from Mary Shelley? Please. I'm writing a poem, Percy. Dear darling Percy, love of my life, I'm ever so happy to be your wife.
My dear, I think you created a monster.
Beware who casts stones when he lives in a glass house, Mr. Twain. Your reputation comes and goes at the tide.
Fame's a vapor, popularity an accident woman.
Well, that's not very true.
And how about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle?
Someone call my name.
Taking roll, Sir Arthur.
Jolly good show. Keep up the good work. Dr. Sleuthing, you know.
And Miss Christie? Agatha Christie?
Right here, Mr. Poe.
Quiet, as usual.
Listen, Mr. Poe. There is a difference. One can't actively solve a crime if one doesn't listen and speak only when necessary.
And what crime are you solving?
The one that hasn't occurred yet.
I don't like it when you foreshadow like that, Miss Christie.
My dear, I'm only thinking of my next mystery.
We'll think away. That wraps up roll call.
But Mr. Penn,
Yes, Miss Alcott?
I'm forgetting somebody.
Ah, yes. I forgot again. I forget every year. Please forgive me. Miss Dickinson? Miss Dickinson?
I'll go get the old maid.
Don't let him, Mr. Poe. Men like him are reason why she's an old maid.
Maritally challenged, I do believe now, Mrs. Shelley. We want to make sure we are politically correct.
I'll go get her.
Each year she seems to withdraw deeper and deeper.
Becoming part of the spirit world, I suspect. Spends a lot of time with the dead.
We're all gonna be dead if we don't get on with this meeting. Never keep things going the way you ought to, though.
And you would, Mr. Twain?
After a good cigar.
Come on, Emily. Now, warrior please. Came down with me and wash your present. Here we are.
Welcome, Emily Dickinson.
I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? And there's a pair of us, don't tell. They banish us, you know. How dreary to be someone, how public like a fraud. To tell your name the livelong day to an admiring body.
Rubbish. That iron bog pays the bills, dear lady.
I rely on a kind of father.
Please sit, Miss Dickinson. I do say you look lovely. You know how we all love that nightdress.
Who's she?
Mary Shelley. She wrote Frankenstein.
I thought Boris Karloff did.
You Philistine! Boris Karloff! He was an actor! He never wrote a word! I created the monster! I made him come alive! Alive! You hear me? Alive!
Byrne broke the cardinal rule and revealed his true identity, mentioning he's part of the Raven Society to a supermarket tabloid. We hope he is happy with the $500 they gave him, because he'll never be reinstated. And should he reveal any of our identities, the location of Dickens' house, or anything about the Raven Society, Mr. Byrne will be effectively
Out of print.
How can we make sure he never mentions Raven Society again?
He won't.
And of course, we don't even know each other's identities, so he never reveal those.
Exactly. The author we have chosen to portray protects us from the prying eyes of the masses.
And from the danger out there.
Just as dangerous in here.
There you go again.
Don't mind my mutterings, Miss Alcott. The little gray cells are just working overtime.
So we lost Vern. Nothing else to cry over. Couldn't stand his parlay moon now how anyhow. But now we're 8.
Can't have 8. Your number won't work.
That's right, our vote might end in a tie.
But we've had an application. A copy is placed beside each of your bedside to look over after our meeting tonight.
That's very irregular. We should have received the application a month before the meeting so we can vote on whether to pursue it or not.
Mary Shelley's right, Mr. Poe.
I only received the application yesterday.
Highly irregular.
I agree, rules for purpose.
I must protest.
Well, we must have a ninth author in order to make voting possible. For never in history have we awarded 2 smoking gun or dagger awards.
Heaven forbid.
Let us forgo tradition and invite a potential new member.
The new members here?
I'm sure Mr. Poe's kidding.
You
We
want
got to look over the application first, then perhaps meet the person.
You want to endanger the Raven Society?
I would never endanger the Raven Society. I founded the Raven Society and would rather die than see it harmed. But, as the founder, I have taken the prerogative and invited a guest member for this weekend.
Leaving no room for discussion, obviously.
I'm afraid not. Allow me to bring in our guest.
Seems pretty nervy to me.
You never know who we might bring in.
Could be a writer of pulp fiction.
Or worse. I don't even want to think of it. What if he hacks for television?
Makes a grown man want to cry.
It's such a little thing to me, so short a thing to sigh. And yet by trades the size of these, we men live to die.
Not to worry. Allow me to introduce William Shakespeare.
But lo, what light through yonder window breaks? 'Tis the sun! No, 'tis you, my fair lady.
Oh, dear me.
Ha! I am your spaniel! I will fawn on you! Spurn me! Strike me! Only give me leave, unworthy as I am to follow you.
Miss Shelley's off limits, Romeo.
She's married, poor fellow, you know.
Well, you won't know won't hurt him.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, my lips to blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough tough touch with a tender kiss.
Why, you turn my little gray cells for much, don't you?
When we greet with eyes best see, heaven's fiery eye, by light we lost light.
She's off limits too.
Shut up.
Miss Dickinson.
Oh, blessed, blessed night! I'm afeard this is all but a dream, too flattering sweet to be substantial.
I'm Noble. Who are you?
William Shakespeare, but my friends call me Will.
I will then, Will.
Perhaps then, Mr. Shakespeare would like to tell us a bit about himself.
Yes, I'm sure we have a bunch of important questions for you.
Master Shakespeare speaks first.
My gracious thanks for allowing my presence amidst your ponderous personages. Methinks I have the better part of the bargain, for lo, I stand before he who makes merry, but through jest turns men's hearts with his Huckleberry berry.
Huckleberry Finn.
Just so, and be the same chamber as the master of Sherlock Holmes, the great detective. Methinks my mind can never conjure such sweetly clever tales of revenge and murder.
Oh, it's nothing really, all formula.
And of you, Mr. Poe, he who can shred the soul with fear, I tremble in your presence.
This guy's good, really good.
Tell us about yourself, Master Shakespeare.
Will,
Will.
I know what there is to know, and this I know truly. Should you know more than I know, 'twould be tomfoolery.
Bravo, bravo.
Well then, we'll check your application and references, of course.
'Tis your pleasure and my pain for you to do so.
Just a formality, Will.
Perhaps then, Will, we ought to explain a few facts about the Raven Society. We 8, and you make 9, are only known to one another as an author. Our mundane identities are left to the dog when we took the dog here to Dickens' house. We arrived one at a time and remained in our rooms until our meeting time of midnight. We were selected by virtue of the fact we love literature, perhaps more than life itself. We were recruited in the same fashion as you, but classified as appearing only one day in the New York Times.
Wanted.
A lover.
Of literature.
In author's shoes. Via resume.
Eagerly accepted.
Serious importance.
only. Because of the nature of the society, everything we do is in secret and must remain so. Therefore, Master Shakespeare, before going any further, you must sign the following, as we all have.
It reads, I, William Shakespeare, do swear to uphold the following provisos of the Raven Society.
1. I will never reveal my true identity to any member of the Raven Society, whether at Dickens' house or elsewhere.
2. I will never reveal to any outsider that I'm a member of the Raven Society.
3. I will never reveal the purpose, structure, or business of the Raven Society.
4. I will never reveal the whereabouts of Dickens' house, owned and retained by the members of the Raven Society.
5. I will never reveal the procedure for awarding the smoking gun or dagger award.
6. I will attend the annual gathering at Dickens' house, regardless of personal and family plans.
I agree unquestioningly to the above provisos and understand the penalty for violating any more must be declared out of print.
Out of print? No punishment could be worse.
Then sign.
Pray, I see no ink in which to jot my name.
We don't use ink.
We use blood, loyal boy. Your blood.
Oh, happy dagger! This is thy sheath. Oh, that smarts! Oh. Out, damn smarts!
Quite all right. And now you may take a seat.
1,000 thanks, for the loss of blood nearly makes me swoon.
You can just swoon on me, honey.
So, good fellows, before proceeding to the business at hand, we have a treasurer's report. Miss Bronte?
Thank you, Mr. Poe. Last year, the Raven Society awarded the smoking gun to the mystery entitled The Poe of Death. To date, royalties paid to the author have amounted to $1.2 million. What's more, a 7-figure deal with Hollywood has been signed, and there's rumored to be TV series in the works.
People listen to the Raven Society.
They trust our judgment.
Last year, we plunged the dagger into the mystery entitled Army Corps of Engineers.
A fitting end.
I still wake up in a cold sweat thinking about that book.
Or is it your own?
I'm proud to say Army Corps of Engineers has earned its author $29.82 and has since been declared
Out of print.
Thank you, Miss Bronte. As you can all plainly see, our word is the literary equivalent of this good housekeeping seal of approval. What we deem worthy will sell, what we deem unworthy will not. And now, we have some correspondence. At your leisure, you'll be free to read some congratulatory messages sent to the publisher of Full of Death. There have been more positive messages here than we've ever received before. And here are the letters of dismay sent to the publisher of Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh, look, someone took sympathy on the book.
But there's only one letter. It doesn't bode well.
Tossed in the fire.
Shelley, aren't you overreacting?
This isn't a game, Sir Arthur.
There you go again with your cry pain.
And you must be so infernally optimistic.
We've had many more negative letters before. Bags full of them.
But just like Shakespeare said, there's only one. It doesn't bode well.
Mystic isn't just throw it in the fire.
My candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. But all my foes and all my friends, it gives a lovely light.
Emily, for heaven's sake.
I didn't write that.
No, woman.
Sounds like me. Must be a copycat.
We've all had our copycats.
It's a sign of success.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery, and you can quote me on that.
Then I'm flattered. Truly am.
What does it not say, though?
Nothing that can't wait. I suggest we all retire to our rooms.
It isn't anything bad, is it?
We can take it. We've all had our critics.
I like criticism, but it must be my way.
I'm certain it's just a harmless joke.
We'll judge it by the punchline.
Very well. To the members of the Raven Society, enjoy your steaks, enjoy your pie. Enjoy them now, for you all will die. The arrow will hit every bird, shall each die by your own word.
Oh, call that poetry?
An insult to the language.
Off with his head.
What is wrong with all of you? Our lives have just been threatened.
Worse, milady, if bad poetry can kill, I'm slain already by tortured rhythm and rhyme.
Edgar, I demand you call the police.
Agatha, aren't you overreacting?
Besides, we can't call the police. We purposely have no phones, no radio, and no way back to Cape Elizabeth until Monday morning.
Well, Agatha, it sounds more and more like one of your books.
We'll all have to sit back and enjoy.
I don't want to enjoy this. Someone's out there trying to get us.
Really, Emily, it's nothing more than a prank.
What if there is someone out there?
It's possible, isn't it?
There's only one way to find out, chaps. Let's go have a look.
Chaps?
You, Will, Edgar here, and me, of course.
Oh, would you? We'd all feel so much better.
Sir Arthur and Twain, head east around the house. Will and I will head west. We'll meet back at the main door.
Sounds simple enough.
But what light through yonder window breaks?
Swear by the moon, Will. It's full tonight.
What are you doing, Mrs. Christie?
Looking for anything distinctive about the paper and or handwriting.
Looks very ordinary to me.
To the untrained eye, yes. We notice upon careful examination not one I is dotted.
Lots of people don't dot their eyes.
But lots do.
Me for one. How about you, Emily?
I don't know.
Poor dear, you are upset, aren't you?
No one's ever threatened us before.
It's only a threat and a very poor one, too. How can anyone do away with all of us?
Especially by our own ones.
I don't know.
You have a good cry.
Get it all out of your system now, because you'll never be able to read all we've got to read for the next 3 days if you have teary eyes.
I suppose you're...
Miss Dickinson? Miss Dickinson?
What's wrong?
Is she?
No, not Ted.
I'm afraid so. Irreversibly so.
Get your hands off of me.
What were you two doing over there?
It's our job, you lummox.
Here now, or here now? Who are you calling a lummox?
Wasn't supposed to be a soul on the island but us.
Just what we were told.
Oh, you must be the housekeepers.
Glad somebody around here's got some sense. Now get your hands off of me or you'll be eating liver and onions for the weekend.
Please, gentlemen.
But what if they're the ones?
What one?
Sent any threatening letters lately?
Only to my ex who hasn't kept up with his allergy.
Don't look at me.
Gentlemen, I'm afraid something terrible has happened.
Just as I thought. No one outside.
Except for the housekeepers.
Housekeepers? We didn't request any housekeepers.
We got a call saying to come here, cook, clean, and do beds for the rich folks, they said.
You didn't know about this, Edgar?
What is this? Why are y'all dressed up like pigs?
This is the Raven Society. We're all famous authors.
Oh, really?
Dost thou not recognize me, fair lady?
Are you Ronald McDonald?
Oh!
Please, miss.
It's Mrs. Even if I hated the mom, I'm still a Mrs. Mrs. Damon, Viola Damon, and Mrs. Macy, and what's with her?
I'm afraid she's dead.
What happened?
She begun to cry.
Wiped her nose.
But how did she?
Of course, for love, her heart broke from want of use.
Such a romantic way to go.
It wasn't romantic at all. Her handkerchief had been soaked in chloramine tea, a disinfecting agent easily obtained at a hospital or medical supply store.
Oh, the good lady speak true.
It must have just been an accident. That's all. Me.
Folks don't usually leave their handkerchiefs soaked around in poison.
Maybe she was cleaning it and just forgot to wash it out.
She just blew her nose.
Oh dear. Don't you remember
Remember what?
what she meant? Will Shakespeare.
Such a little thing to weep, so short a thing to sigh. And yet by trades the size of these, we men and women die.
That lady got up and walked out. I can drink it. I got one feeling.
Sorry, Agatha, it's just me.
Edgar, you want to give an old lady a heart attack?
I beg your pardon, dear lady.
What were you doing hiding behind a chair like that?
I couldn't sleep.
So you hid behind a chair?
Actually, I was doing some sleuthing when I heard you come down the hallway.
Inspector Dupin at work?
And now I'm looking at Miss Marple and all her glory.
And I couldn't sleep either.
It's not very characteristic of us to just roll over and play dead, is it?
Of course not. Art imitates life, not the other way around. 10 Little Indians was strictly for fun.
No conceivable way 9 people could allow themselves to be murdered one by one.
If you recall, however, there was no real sleuth among the 10. They just simply didn't know how to proceed.
But we do.
You invented the detective story,
The only child I ever had. And you're the grand dame of all mystery writers.
so we'd best make a good showing of ourselves, or our reputations will be ruined.
Have you an idea?
I hate to say it, but Conan Doyle's overrated Holmes fellow said something about never overlooking the obvious.
Oh, I remember something like that. What's so obvious?
The motive.
Ah, of course. We sent the dagger through that hideous book, Army Corps of Engineers. The author earned only a pittance for amounted to several months of typing, and now he wants revenge.
Too simple for words.
What do you mean?
There's no depth of character there. No writer worth his salt would rely on such a simplistic motive.
But Holmes said something about the obvious.
Yes, of course. And did you read that piece by Sidney Rainsford in Writer's Blotter magazine last month?
I don't believe I caught that, did he?
Interesting, Poe. It was very interesting. If you recall, Rainsford wrote a best-selling first novel, Plums for Persephone, 20 years ago.
Wonderful book. I didn't realize the author had written any since.
His point exactly. Success ruined Rainsford's career. Being so fearful of not being able to repeat Persephone's success, he developed writer's block, lost his wife, squandered all his money on every vice from gambling and drinking, and in general, sunk into a mirror of listlessness.
And you think what happened to Rainsford?
Yes, it happened to last year's winning novel, Quills of Death.
And we shouldn't even be worried about the author of Army Corps of Engineers?
Absolutely not. But I can't find a copy of Quills of Death anywhere. I would like to get a bit of biographical information about the author.
I do believe we've got a copy up here somewhere. That's funny. I'm sure it was here.
Aha!
Wait, I believe I've got a copy in my room. I brought it just in case we need it as reference.
Would you be so kind as to fetch it at once?
Your wish is my command.
Army Corps of Engineers by Lester Coyne. Army engineer Dirk Braddock arrives in Duwell, Montana to build a dam that will ultimately flood the town out of existence. No sooner he arrives than the murders begin to occur. First the mayor, then the school morm, then the postmaster. Will Braddock be able to stop these heinous crimes? Will he become a victim himself? Or will he fade out of print?
It's written by SM Typing.
Ah, yes, an unusual name. Here's a bio. SM Typing has 3 passions: macaroons, Mozart, mysteries. An expert on the Canterbury Tales and lives just west of Chicago. It reads, "This is my first book, and I hope my next is to die for."
Not very hopeful. We don't know if it's a man or a woman.
But we know enough. Macaroons, Mozart, mysteries.
Chicago.
Canterbury Tales. Shh, someone's coming.
Looks like we're not the only ones working on this mystery.
I feel like a cup of tea, and perhaps I can pump this strange Mrs. Danglin a bit.
But Agatha, it's 3 in the morning.
Edgar, that clock is 4 hours fast, remember? You set it ahead, so midnight wouldn't be so late. It's only 11.
Oh, I remember. Well, as long as I'm up, I guess I'll study the members' applications in the office.
But they don't contain anything about our real lives.
Still, there could be something of note.
That walk didn't do me a bit of good. I still feel so alone and afraid.
Maybe a walk wasn't the answer.
I had to play rifles for each other.
That's the difference between Americans and everyone else. You're always chipper, even when you face death by your own words.
That's what whoever's bent on doing us in must know all our works. Whoever it is must be a professor of literature or a critic, or worse.
What can we do?
We don't leave our real lives behind when we come to your Dickens house, do we?
Not completely. You can't return to the world just like this, so each have our clothes and other personal belongings.
Therefore, the killer might have something in his or her room that's incriminating. I propose we search all the guest rooms to see what we can find.
Snoop?
What if we get caught? Simply don't get caught.
But how can we get your children through everyone's favors?
I can solve that quite simply. Where is she going?
I have no idea. I wish I had her invented this. Everyone seems to think I've got a job to me. But I'm afraid nothing can be further from the truth. I'm just your typical everyday coward.
Hurry, now's our chance.
Hark! Who bells at the gates of hell?
One of the females probably spotted a mouse.
Have you seen anything, Miss Christie?
No, Mrs. Dangland, Maisie and I were just having a cup of tea.
Then it must have came from outside.
What are y'all doing? Enter the jaws of death, you are. Well, don't leave us behind.
All for one and one for all.
Why draggeth me here when our eyes are needed elsewhere?
Can't you talk straight English?
Pray, good Falstaff, being in time for a lesson I would be most willing to learn.
Alright, just listen. You're a new guy, see? And I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, I'll let you slip in a cell phone or something?
I'm afraid I have only what you see,
Shucks, that ain't much.
but I'm not unaccustomed to mystery.
I gave the world a great mystery in Tom Sawyer.
Are you saying my Richard III is mere dog food?
No.
Listen, if we play our cards correctly, we can outmaneuver the killer in spades.
How do you figure?
Come, let us find a quiet spot where no ears can catch the pearls we exchange.
The office. It's back here, son. But I hope you have more up your sleeve than just pearls.
No sign of anything.
No news is good news.
But there was a scream.
You left us. You left us out there.
Sorry, Mrs. Dangland, Maisie, I thought you guys were right behind me.
We weren't behind nobody.
Why don't you sit down?
And I'll go get the tea.
I'm retired for tonight. I'm dead tired. I mean, just bushed.
One question, Sir Arthur, before you go.
What's that?
How do you feel about macaroons?
Macaroons.
You know, the cookie.
Never thought about it. Why, do you have some? Could use a snack about right now.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where do macaroons fall for you?
5 maybe. No, 6. Only if it's from Pickwick Bakery. Otherwise, a 5.
Good night then, Sir Arthur. Pleasant dreams.
Don't let the bed bugs back.
Why'd you have to say that? I don't like bugs. I don't like things that bite.
It's just an old saying.
Keep your sayings to yourself. Huh.
And you, Miss Dangland? On midnight juries, how do you feel about macaroons?
Isn't cookies coconut?
Rich and delicious.
Not if you're allergic to coconut.
Really?
Yeah, it gives me the hives. I bring it out like a tomato.
And how about Chicago?
Except I'm allergic to Chicago.
Ah, here we are. Just what the doctor ordered to scare the boogeyman away.
And with that, I'll return to my room.
If you don't mind me saying so, you're all weirder than football bats. Dressing up like it's Halloween, pretending to be folks you're not.
We're trying to keep our real identities a secret.
What, are you ashamed of who you are?
Absolutely not. But do you see those?
The trophy I don't want to win.
They're worth millions.
Is that so?
Yes, if people knew who we really were, there'd be no end to the pestering attempts to buy us off.
Oh, really? Sounds like a good ruckus to me. I'd let myself be bought off, that's for sure.
Is that how you ended up here at Dickens' house?
Bought off? No, sorry, Bob. With the agency.
What agency?
Spit Spot Housekeeping. That's the agency that I work at. They called, told us to come here on Friday, take the boat from the hardware store, cook, clean, do beds for the rich folks, like usual, and take the boat and go on.
Did you recognize the voice?
No, but there's nothing unusual on that.
Or not?
There's always someone new in dispatch.
So you've worked in housekeeping long?
Long enough to know that I don't like being in a house where a murder was committed. Shouldn't the police be swarming this place? I've watched Columbo. I know they ought to be dusting everything.
We've no way to contact the police.
phone, no radio.
We sequester ourselves for the weekend when choosing the award-winning book.
What if one of you takes it or drops dead?
We've never had to think of that till now.
Well, I'm gonna lock my door and put a chair in the knob. I am. You're all weird. And Murder Thompson being weird. Gotta wash yourself before bed.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Mr. Poe! Mr. Poe!
Oh, the ladies in this madhouse make much ado about nothing.
There you are, Master Shakespeare.
Unfortunately.
If I didn't know better, that's why you're running away from me.
No, fair lady. I just hardly expected to see such a fair lass in my room.
Well, it's the 19th century, Master Shakespeare. You women are a bit more liberated than those of your day.
What did good Queen Beth start?
You know, I've always loved your work.
And I've always loved my fans.
I'm your #1 fan.
Then I do love thee more than all the others.
I hope so.
But my love is like a rose, a red, red rose, newly sprung in the spring. It blooms and withers in the space of an hour.
An hour's good.
But fair lady, you have a husband.
I'll never tell.
But I'm a man of honor.
Oh, really? So I found this in your chamber?
Where'd you get that?
Don't you mean from whence came this incriminating bit of newsprint?
Give me that.
Shall I read it?
Go ahead. I don't know anything about that scrap of paper.
Dr. Hilda Feinenbrand, noted expert on the poet Emily Dickinson, presenting a talk on the reclusive 19th century writer, Wednesday, February 23rd. I still can't read your handwriting. But you've underlined the date and time. Did you go here?
I don't remember.
Well, obviously she stole dishwater, but certainly you remember going here as recently as February.
I don't know anything about that piece of paper.
Well, I'll sit with the authorities when they arrive.
It's hardly evidence of anything.
Well, I can make it slimmer.
At what cost?
Write me a sonnet. Words of love.
A sonnet, fair lady. I could write an epic about how I feel about you.
Afraid an epic is too bold, from when many are wounded and die.
Precisely.
No, merely a sonnet. Words of love.
Fine. And this?
Belongs best in the fire. When the sonnet is complete.
Okay, fine. Where dost thou drag me?
Research, Will. Research.
It's gone! See for yourself!
So it is.
Someone took the dagger!
This is horrible. The killer said we each die by our own words.
I hate to think of how many victims I pumped off with a dagger.
Why didn't I kill Mary J with the blunt object or maybe a horse cart?
Fortunately, everyone else has used the dagger.
But that doesn't bring us any closer to knowing who's behind this.
But files! Anything in the files!
I haven't had a chance to look yet.
Macaroons, Mozart, mysteries.
Chicago, Canterbury Tales.
Writing mysteries has made me a fortune, but has proven less satisfactory than any other forms of writing.
Who's that?
Conan Doyle. He just never could reconcile that Sherlock Holmes was his finest hour.
The music of Mozart puts me at ease, clears my mind, refreshes my creative powers.
Who's that?
Louisa May Alcott.
Listen to this. I did say I never met a man I did like, but I should have added unless he's from Chicago.
Let me guess. Mark Twain.
Shh, listen.
Someone's playing Beethoven's Fifth.
It's not Beethoven's fifth.
Certainly not his ninth.
It's Mozart.
Mozart!
Let's find Miss Alcott immediately!
Sir Arthur, what is it?
The band.
It's not a band, it's an orchestra playing Mozart.
The band. The band.
Which band? Steve Miller? Dave Matthews? Smashing Pumpkins?
That's the metal band, you idiots. That's the metal band.
Edgar! I think Sir Arthur's dead!
Mr. Twain,
Confounded woman.
that's hardly a proper greeting.
5 in the morning, no problem. My reading is proper.
It's not really 5 in the morning. The clock is 4 hours fast, remember?
Then you best get back to bed.
When are you doing it?
I'm getting off this island.
But what can you possibly do?
I'm not gonna lie around and wait to get stabbed.
It's impossible. There's no boats, and none due until Monday.
I'll swim.
So, you aren't even dressed. I shall avert, and
Found it, woman. 2 of our 8 are dead, and you're standing here on modesty?
if you attempt to get off this island, there'll be 3 of us gone.
I'd rather go on my own terms than wait to be killed.
But it's well over a mile from here.
Many a summer, I swam back and forth across the Mississippi, and it gave really big kick.
But the current is dangerous between here and the mainland.
Not as dangerous as the Mississippi.
Please, Mr. Green, listen to reason.
That's what I'm doing. And if you had any reason, you'd get off this island too.
I can't. I drug water.
Suits you.
What's wrong?
Well, I still got to swim off of here, so are you gonna come, or you're gonna leave in peace? Peace.
Mr. Twain, Mr. Twain.
I swear, that lady has more powers of persuasion than a lioness protecting her cubs.
Will, art thou, Will, here? Art thou in thy chamber? Will!
Pray, who goes there?
Just I, Master Shakespeare, but whatever happened to you?
It would stand to reason the creator of Frankenstein would be his better in every way.
She tried to sink her claws in him.
Afraid so, but what are you doing awake at such a terrible hour and struggling with fear?
It's awful. Miss Mark Twain drove into the sea in an attempt to save his life.
But surely that will end it.
He was afraid whoever stole the dagger would come after him because Indian Joe killed the doctor and Tom Sawyer looking at him.
He has nothing to fear as compared with me. I have slain no less than 38 men and 7 women with the swords and daggers in my long career.
I wouldn't say that too loudly.
I feel you are right.
Now, come, let me mend the tears in your clothing. You'll rest easier with no grease through your sleeves and pantaloons.
And how do I know I can trust your humor, Miss Alcott?
Oh, Master Shakespeare, you insult me. I have no desire of any man, leastly the life of you. You Renaissance beast, foul to smell, ugly to listen to, and to look upon. You make one wish she was blind. Now come.
I'm at your service, reasonable lady.
The band, the speckled band! Whatever could he have been referring to?
I know now why I should have read 1 or 2 of the Sherlock Holmes tales.
Terribly hard since they didn't come out till 40 years after your death. I'm the one caught with my typewriter without a ribbon, and I know I've heard that before, but the idea just keeps snaking away from me.
Funny, you have nothing inside this room besides some books, a toothbrush, hairbrush, and a shaving supplies.
And this locked box.
I wonder what's in it.
Does it shake?
Yeah, there's something inside. It's almost like it's alive.
Alive?
Yeah, I can feel something moving about in there all by itself.
We've got to open it.
Let me try my keys.
I did find something interesting as I was going over the files.
What's that?
Conan Doyle seems to have lived in Chicago. He mentioned speaking to many literary groups while he was there.
But
Just wait. His recipe for macaroons appeared in the December issue of Gourmet magazine.
that's all and well, but...
We knew mysteries were his passion, leaving only what he felt about Mozart.
And the Canterbury Tales. But it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter why not.
Because Sir Arthur's dead.
Oh dear, you're right. But could have one of us really been the killer of Miss Dickinson?
Then none one of us has killed Sir Arthur?
Dominoes.
Oh, I always hated that game. Ah, I got it.
Whatever could have kept in the box. Ah!
Alas, Where might my soul find sanctuary from the warming arms and ruby lips that surround me? For in truth I'm nothing more than a shy fellow who wants nothing more to be left and know.
Master Shakespeare, I knew you ran in here somewhere. Perhaps you've gone to your chamber. I'll seek you there.
Anyone here? I thought I heard voices. Who's there? Is there someone behind that chair? I don't know why you're hiding because I'm not afraid of you or anything. Here now, you killed her!
What happened?
2 more murders!
Mrs. David, what have you done?
I haven't done a thing!
Don't you see?
See what?
It's Romeo and Juliet.
So here lie Romeo dead and Juliet dead before Warm and New killed.
Mr. Poe won't have a bit of luck today. Sees a tempest tossed.
It's impossible for anyone to have survived a swim from here at Cape Elizabeth, even the most well-trained of swimmers.
And I fear Master Twain has a bit too much of the roundness about the middle.
Oh, Mr. Two-Timer has a comment.
Pray, Miss Shelley, I'm not sought the attention thrust upon me.
Well, you've been mighty good about basking it in.
As far as I'm concerned, you're the lovelier and the livelier, a rose in the garden of weeds.
Well, as long as you put it like that.
Oh well, I'm making a sample of your most famous line. To be or to be.
I think you left something out.
Oh dear, I can't do anything now.
Fair lady, I will revel in your handiwork's beauty and overlook its flaw.
It's pretty hard when it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Oh look, Mr. Poe has found something.
More hot water? Sorry, I just can't seem to stop scaring the wits out of you.
'Tis a long time before wits scare me. But scare me one time too many, and I'll be food for ones.
Don't go saying such things. Besides, there's no way anybody can get scared to death.
Isn't there?
I would believe someone confirmed with his worst fear might die of shock.
And I'll stay a good distance from you, Mr. Shakespeare. And how's Mrs. Bronte?
So embarrassed she won't come out of her room.
Oh dear.
Oh, she's not embarrassed about her thinking she become a victim.
She's embarrassed because, well,
She was making on advances of Master Shakespeare here. Advances of the heart.
Calm down, you know.
If I would have known what ladies these would be, I would have never worn my best ruffle pantaloons.
No such have to keep them on.
oh, oh,
I mean, you can change.
but we cannot change, Mrs. Shelley. You know this. The Raven Society has no members but we offers, and we offers only.
But with all these murders, everything's gonna be different.
Not necessarily.
How do you mean?
Mr. Poe and I have been discussing what's to come Monday morning.
I said we make fast tracks to the boat and blow this place.
Oh, Master Shakespeare, you do know the vernacular.
Master Shakespeare, of course, is right.
What about
The bodies, they cause a problem. But we have a plan, and it's quite simple.
How simple.
First, we must find out the killer of Sir Arthur and Miss Dickinson, and then we lock the culprit up in the pantry to be discovered with the bodies. By the time the authorities arrive, there will be little for the killers to do but confess.
But what if we, the innocent?
By the time the police get here, we the innocent have already left this island, just as we came, each on a boat separately. We have resumed our real lives. And since we don't know each other's real identities, there'll be no way for the police to implicate or question us.
Now, saints be praised.
But what about our applications in the minutes of the Raven Society?
Mr. Poe has committed them to memory.
Oh, Mr. Poe, what have you found?
He's dead, isn't he?
I'm afraid he must be. What have you got?
Nothing very helpful. Mr. Twain's bathing cap, robe, and these.
An old oil rag?
Should have been bits by what?
A sea monster! He's been devoured by a sea monster!
Most likely Really? A great white shark. Oh, Mrs. Barkley, feeling better?
Yes.
Yes, sorry a fellow knew like that.
I thought you were too embarrassed to come in here.
I had to know Mr. Poe found.
My fault, honey, entirely. That rolling pin's got a mind of its own.
Oh, don't mention it.
You poor dear man.
What are you doing?
Personally, back on the subject of that shark. I would have thought a shark would have taken one bite out of that old codger. Spit him out.
Mr. Trim is probably a single vocal beast. Poor man.
Just like the terrible scene in Tom School.
We'll die by our own words.
So why did I have to be so prolific? This killer can get me 100 different ways.
Don't fear, Master Shakespeare. Mr. Poe and I have made progress in our investigation.
What progress?
We know who didn't do it.
Those who are dead.
Precisely. So that leaves only those in this room.
Which means we must never leave this room alone.
Excellent idea.
We go 2 by 2.
That means an innocent victim is paired up with the killer.
Then we go 3 by 3.
What if there are 2 killers?
That's absurd!
Then we must stay here.
In this room?
Well, when we're hungry, we can all go to the kitchen.
And when we need to go to the bathroom?
That is a problem.
And I put it to you like this. This is the only safe place. The only place we're sure no one can get to us. Should you need to leave through anything, do so at your own risk. Time flies.
If anybody wants something to eat, we could go to the kitchen and scramble up some eggs.
That sounds wonderful.
Even I could use a spot of tea.
I'm starved.
I'm crushed.
How about you, Agatha? Agatha?
She was right here when I dozed off.
Yeah, she finished the whole supper.
Must have stayed awake.
Watching. Waiting for the right moment.
What is it?
What's wrong?
I've been stabbed!
Miss Alcott.
How could you?
We'll go get the water and towels.
Is there anything I can do?
Miss Alcott.
Oh well, come kiss my drying lips.
Miss Alcott, really? You are leaving on the sharp part of my belt buckle that doth make a sharp statement.
Sunglasses.
Honestly, you're the most over-the-top, ultra-dramatic nitwit I've ever met. Haven't you ever heard of keeping a stiff upper lip? You never have survived the blitz before, that's for certain.
Mrs. Shelley?
You're right, a colonial.
Oh well, I knew she was faking it.
I'm sorry, I'm just so upset. Miss Christie, I think that'll be the end of all of us.
I fear Miss Alcott's right. We must find Agatha.
But we are to leave this room.
Circumstances have changed.
Mrs. Dingley and Mace are able to get water and bandages.
Everyone select a weapon.
A weapon?
Something in this room, wish to defend yourself.
I've never touched a weapon before in my life.
Well, now's your time, Cookie.
Miss Alcott.
Mr. Poe, the pen is mightier than the sword.
What was that?
Who was that?
I'll go that way and find out.
I'll go outside.
I'll go this way.
So I.
It's not smart going to look for danger. I think I'll stay right here and it can find me all by itself.
Can we, Mr. Poe, please?
Miss Danglin.
I know you're the master of suspense and terror. Please don't strike me dead with that thing.
Miss Danglin, get up. I have no intention of killing you.
No?
Of course not. I heard a scream and took a weapon as defense.
Burn my hand on the water.
It's quite all right. Miss Alcott wasn't harmed in the least.
She wasn't?
Of course not. She was leaning against Master Shakespeare's belt buckle.
How to break that horrible dagger found its way between her shoulder blades.
Very difficult considering I have the dagger.
Agatha!
She's gonna kill us! Save me!
Drop it before you kill someone else.
Miss Alcott, really?
Drop it.
I can't, you're holding me too tightly.
Likely story.
Let go.
Let you spin about and stab me, not on your life.
Miss Alcott, I'll aim at Miss Christie. If she tries anything, I'll let her have it.
All right then.
Now let go.
What ruckus be this?
Mrs. Christie was about to kill us all.
She be the killer?
I would not be the killer, Master Shakespeare,
She had the dagger!
which I found
lady, speak fast and true. How did you come about this happy dagger?
As the light faded from evening to night, and you all faded into sleep, I felt I couldn't just sit there. A crime cannot merely wait to be solved. A killer must be pursued relentlessly, not being able to come to justice on his own terms. So I determined to set out on my own and search the rooms of the victims.
Brave deed.
We thought about doing that ourselves last night.
But you were all so taken with Master Shakespeare here. You each altered your plan to be with him, correct?
All we were trying to do is get him alone.
Flattery will get you everywhere, Miss Bronte.
Unfortunately, flattery never solved a crime.
So where did you find the dagger?
In your room, Mr. Poe.
My room?
Under your pillow.
Under my... That's impossible.
I'm afraid that's right where it was.
Agatha, you know me better than that.
But why would you do it?
There, I'm afraid you got me.
Aha!
But you can't argue with the other facts.
There are no facts here other than Miss Christie had the dagger.
Ain't that the cleverest?
Why are you all so trusting of Miss Christie? She easily could have taken the dagger herself and is simply saying she found it under my pillow now.
That's right.
Come now, Miss Alcott, you know me better than that.
The only fact here is that Miss Christie had the dagger.
And we only know what we can clearly see, and that she had the dagger.
I found it in Mr. Poe's room, just like I found Mr. Twain's suitcase, all neatly packed up in the corner of his room.
What difference does it make?
He took the time to pack up all of his belongings very neatly before jumping into the water.
You yourself said he had all the confidence in the world, he saved himself and us.
True, but in the pocket of his suitcase was a ticket, a plane ticket to Belize.
Believe. Whose name was on that ticket?
Sam Clemens.
What does that prove?
I don't know.
Maybe he was a traveling salesman or something in the real world.
Still, it strikes me as odd. A man fleeing for his life wouldn't take the time to neatly pack up all of his belongings before jumping into shore as if to come back and retrieve them later, would he?
Well, the old coop's gone, so we'll never know.
Speaking of gone,
Where's Miss Shelley?
She grabbed that sword.
and went outside.
Mrs. Shelley? Mrs. Shelley!
But nothing would have happened to her.
You're right. So we're all here. Let's check that way first.
Togetherness is a lovely thing, but don't you think we're overdoing it a bit?
You don't have the dagger, do you, Mrs. Christie?
No, but who knows what we each have up our sleeves?
So you must have thought you were dealing with a bunch of idiots. You never would have thought one of us would find the cell phone you left lying carelessly about. Well, you'll be starting around to get the police out here. Oh, bother. Low battery. Like a fool. Loves an adapter. Now just to find an outlet. All house. All the outlets behind the furniture. Aha! Gracious.
Oh, Mrs. Shelley!
Oh, we are glad to see you.
What are you doing?
Sticking together.
Well, no need.
What have you got there?
A cell phone. I found it in the killer's room.
How do you know it was in the killer's room?
Who but the killer would have a cell phone just in case something went wrong?
Y'all never cease to amaze us so bad. You're so deductible.
Whose room was it in?
Well, did you realize that P.S. I use love is an anagram for evil spouse?
How clever, but we don't need rooms right now, Miss Shelley.
We need answers. Whose room was that phone in?
You'll find out as soon as I plug this phone in and call the police.
Mrs. Shelley, what are you doing back there?
The phone said it's the only outlet I can find.
Oh dear! Mrs. Shelley, wait!
It's just like the terrible scene in Frankenstein.
When the monster comes alive.
She was an electrifying writer.
Literally.
If only she told us whose room she found the phone in.
She did, in her own puzzling way. Dr. Frankenstein had all the parts there in front of him. He just had to put them together to make them come alive.
speak in jest.
I wouldn't have said it if I didn't mean it, Master Shakespeare. You have the cutest hair I've ever seen.
Yours isn't so bad either. How did you get those beautiful curls?
But what of mine? Are they less tempting?
Is it possible for three people to be more banal than you? I can't imagine how Miss Christie could think with such jibber-jabber going on.
Don't mind our Mr. Workpo. Mind if we do wash up these dishes?
You can't go in the kitchen alone.
Anybody want to come with us?
Leave the dishes, Miss Danglin.
But they'll get crusted up, and this stuff will never come off.
There's more important things in life than dirty dishes.
My dear Jane Eyre knew the power of passion.
The words of love, like drops or dew, fall and cleanse you. Both.
So you
You scared the wits out of me!
Sorry, Mrs. Danglin.
What's no use?
The final clue to the puzzle!
If I were known we was just doing a puzzle, I probably wouldn't have dropped what I did.
This puzzle wasn't just any puzzle.
You're speaking in riddles.
If I'd solved it, I'd know who the killer is.
Well, we can't all be as clever as our favorite creations.
But,
Never play the piano as well as Beth.
but we could still make beautiful music.
A duet or a trio, Master Shakespeare.
Yes, yes. Music. Entertainment. We've got to do something to get our minds off this whole thing. Let's put on a play.
What? It seems almost disrespectful.
But in ancient times, it would have been a sign of respect to put on plays of those who are dearly departed.
I agree with Miss Danglin. It's in terrible taste.
But Will, you put plays within your plays, and sometimes at very awkward moments.
But I thought my little Pyramus and Thisbe sketch was an excellent taste for Theseus and Hippolyta.
But there was that play presented in Hamlet.
Yes, but that one...
It, too, was an excellent choice. And perhaps Miss Christie is right. An entertainment would while away the hours before bedtime.
Come here, Master Shakespeare. He who has so much experience can act out the part.
What part am I to play?
A man, middle-aged, just over the hill.
And after needs his crop. What's the story, Maury?
Begins weeks ago, perhaps months ago. You are a professor of, let's say, literature at, let's say, Drinkwater State College. You've spent years grading students' mundane themes, which are becoming worse and worse by the moment. You are at the point of pulling your own hair out. And then the phone rings. It's a publisher, the publisher of Army Corps of Engineers. At first you don't want to talk to him. You are afraid. Aside from being a member, you are also a member of the Raven Society, which destroyed the publisher's book. At first you don't want to talk to him. You are afraid. But you ask him what he wants. He tells you he wants you to write a book. He promises you a very big advance. This advance is more money than you make in a year. You ask him what he wants the book to be about. He answers, the Raven Society. He wants to destroy that group. So that's when you pull both your oars out of the water. What better way to ensure success than if all the founding members are found dead after their annual meeting and you get to write the book from a first-hand experience? You don't tell the publisher this, but knowing the publicity surrounding finding the 8 bodies on the island, your book is sure to be a bestseller. And along with it will be TV experiences, lectures, fame, fortune. No more student mundane themes.
Agatha, are you sure?
Let her continue.
We've been sold out for a book deal?
It's poetic justice, isn't it?
So you read each of our works. You deviously select your modus operandi from our own words. A poisoned handkerchief for Emily Dickinson, a snake bite for Sir Arthur, electrocution for Mary Shelley, probably being buried alive for Mr. Poe, strangulation for me, a sword wound for William Shakespeare, a disease for Miss Alcott, and a fire for Miss Bronte.
I don't like this play. I don't like it at all.
Poetic justice? I wonder. Step 1 was to mail the letter to the Raven Society. That would put the victims on edge. No one saw it coming, so the first murder was the easiest. You merely placed the poison-soaked handkerchief in Emily Dickinson's pocket, knowing she was a frail woman prone to fits of tears, and that one whiff of chloramine tea would kill her. The second was easily as simple. You simply took the snake in its box to Conan Doyle's room, placed it on the bed, and locked it. And when he came into the room, curiosity got the better of him, and just like Dr. Rollips and Conan Doyle's adventure of a speckled band, he died from a swamp adder's bite.
Oh, Master Shakespeare, are you right? Will, help! Someone do something!
No need. I think I'm a better actor than give it credit for.
Then came the dagger. Stealing it and placing it under Mr. Poe's pillow was a nice attempt at throwing us off.
Also let you know, we were doing some sleuthing and not taking us all lying down.
Then came the most important part of your plan, your escape. You had to escape because you had plenty to write about. And to make certain that no one would link you back to the murders, you swam off, ostensibly to obtain a rescue party. You packed your bag very neatly and left it in the room to retrieve it later. You even had a ticket to Belize in the pocket of your suitcase, for it was there where you would write your book. And since you were paid the advance, you could live like a king.
You're talking about Mark Twain.
He's the killer?
But tarry a moment longer. Mr. Twain fled last night. We presume he's been dinner for shark. And yet, poor Michelle met her fate just a short while ago.
Yeah,
Of course, for the plan to work, he couldn't do it alone.
But that's silly. None of us would have helped that old coot.
But you see, one of us did. The killer would stay back, finish off the murders, then leave, completely undetected.
How?
A boat, hidden away. There are small inlets and caves along the east edge of the island. I'm betting if we search now, we are guaranteed to find a boat. I'm certain.
What about Shelley's clue about an anagram?
What in tarnations is an anagram?
A word when scrambled becomes another word.
So Poe could become Epo.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, Alcock could become Cottle.
That doesn't make any sense either.
But what if Viola became Olivia?
That one makes sense.
Sense? That sounds like a bunch of baloney, if you
Oh.
ask me.
What if Dangling became Langdon?
Olivia Langdon?
Who's that?
Mark Twain's wife!
Let go of me! Let go!
We got some explaining to do.
We are the cleaning ladies.
How'd you get here then, huh? Al, the owner of a hardware store who runs the boat, said he was sure glad that I was the last to arrive because he was hitting the hay as soon as he returned back to Cape Elizabeth.
You had to have come a boat that's hidden away, so you have a way off the island once the murders are done.
All I know is I got a call, and they told us to come here on Monday and clean for them.
But that's impossible. Mr. Poe left word that we were not to be disturbed by any help whatsoever.
I want to talk to a lawyer.
You'll have plenty of time to do that once we get back to the mainland.
How do you plan on doing that?
We could take your boat.
My thought exactly.
You think I'd help any of you? You're a bunch of worthless, brainless idiots who parade around thinking you're so important with your big awards. Well, you ain't getting any key to any boat from me.
Won't matter.
Yeah, by the time the police arrive, you'll be the only ones left here on Monday morning, even if we have to wait.
I do know you'd be very comfortable locked in the pantry.
The pantry? There's no window in there.
Exactly. No way out till the police let you out.
I love you, Mr. Poe.
Thanks, Will.
You'll never get away with this. You'll pay.
I knew there was something odd about her.
Her arrival was just too convenient.
You're ever so brilliant. How'd you figure all of this out?
It takes a great deductive reasoning and intuitive thinking. Plus, I also snuck into her room while she was out here sleeping and cleaned out anything that'd be half incriminating, such as a bottle of disinfectant agent containing chloramine tea, a receipt from Bob's Pet Shop for one swamp batter, and a radio electrical conductor used to electrify anything plugged into an outlet.
That's the last we'll see of Langdon or Danglin or Twain or whatever her name is.
She is quite distraught, locked in a windowless chamber.
But she has plenty of potato chips to nibble on.
I assume it's safe for us to retire to our rooms now.
One would think.
What are you doing?
Mrs. Christie, what's wrong?
This isn't William Shakespeare at all.
There's nothing shocking in that, Miss Christie. We're each merely playing a part.
But its real initials are LC.
LC?
Lester Coin, perhaps?
The author of Army Corps of Engineers?
Uh-oh.
All right, you got me.
You wrote that hideous mystery?
It wasn't that bad, just a little tightening here and
I
there.
needed a full frontal lobotomy.
One would have thought at first that you would have came here to kill us. I mean, after all, you had a strong motive. Revenge.
Revenge? Hardly. A publisher picked up the book, read it, and now have a six-figure deal with Ramble On Studios. I'm gonna make tons of money.
With all the luck.
Well, that's showbiz.
What are you doing here then?
I just wanted to see who would award the book an award like Smoking Gun to Quills of Death.
Intelligent, lifelong devotees of literature.
I think Master Shakespeare's about to burst our bubble of self-perception, Mr. Poe.
Afraid so. SM Typing, the author of the book, is actually a pseudonym.
Pseudonym for what?
16 Monkeys Typing.
Monkeys?
Afraid so. You see, Dr. Sylvia Shelton told me about a study that was happening at a zoo. You see, scientists were wondering the statistical likelihood of 16 monkeys randomly typing at a computer desk would come up with a real publishable book. And they did. 2 years, 6 months, and 16 days. It was picked up by the first publisher who read it, and he loved it. And now it's even more famous thanks to you guys for awarding the Smoking Gun Award.
We awarded the trophy to
16 monkeys?
But there was even a bio.
See, macaroons, they love to eat them while typing.
to Mozart.
Creating a mystery.
What about the Canterbury Tales?
Oh, that's the worst of it. You see, the computer chairs weren't quite high enough for the monkeys, and so those books were just the right height for them to sit on.
How dare you come here and make fools of us?
I'm afraid we did that ourselves, Edgar.
Well,
What about Chicago?
It was taken care of at Brookfield Zoo.
it was a mistake to reward that.
A,
We're
mis-
human.
a mistake? I wonder how many mistakes you made solving this crime.
None! I reasoned it out to the last action.
Oh, really? But what if, like, Mark Twain, like Tom and Huck, didn't die?
Well, if you want to get technical,
What was that?
go check, Will.
I'm not gonna check!
Well, don't forget the poor old spinster.
We locked this England up tighter than a rat in a maze.
But you locked her up, didn't you?
But Mr. Twain can't be alive. You saw his shredded shorts and blood.
Right where I left them 5 minutes ago.
Mr. Twain, you're alive?
I'm afraid reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Traitor!
You think I turned out $500,000 out of loyalty? You can't know much about human nature.
Your plan is ruined.
Not at all, right, Scooty?
Everything is going exactly how it's supposed to.
What do you mean?
Our boat's waiting and has enough gas to get back to Portland. We have a flight scheduled to Belize, and I believe our bags have been packed.
We'll be
Now,
on
here you go.
the beach an entire day before they even find your bodies.
And who's the person back here? You're so secretive, no one will even know we're here.
Oh, Will, save me, save me.
I feel they hold too much of the upper hand.
My only regret is not letting you guys die in the romantic ways of your characters.
You don't mind, do you, Master Shakespeare?
I'm afraid we'll have to be very mundane about it and just plug you all.
Please, we don't know either of your real identities. There's no way we can trace you.
And that would involve an element of trust.
We don't trust any of you.
It's always hard to decide which one to kill off first.
I think Miss Christie. She almost had it figured.
Yes, Agatha. Close but no cigar.
You are supposed to be dead.
Don't believe everything you see, sweetie.
Bravo, Miss Shelley. Good arm.
I don't understand. You were electrocuted.
We all saw you fall dead, and Mr. Poe and Master Shakespeare carried you to your room.
Not exactly. You see, when I searched the rooms of the victim, I found the radioelectrical conductor that I knew would cause Mrs. Shelley's death. So, I proposed to her that she played the part of the victim, allowing Mrs. Danglin to believe that her plan was working out just accordingly.
And with none of you guys being doctors or even wanting to get close to a dead body, it was a snap playing dead.
So you see, Master Shakespeare, we aren't all such idiots after all.
I'll say, 16 monkeys may have fooled you, but you're sharp as a tack when it deals with colonial buffoons.
That colonial remark, Master Shakespeare, was totally uncalled for. Some of us have a lot to offer.
But it's much better to stay closer to home.
But it's always important to share and share alike.
Love labor's lost, Miss Alcott.
It would seem that way.
Just like the Raven Society, Mr. Poe.
Haven't you heard of the Phoenix, Miss Christie?
The bird that rises from its own ashes.
We'll return again next year and return to our appointed duties, no matter what the charlatan says. And who knows, perhaps we'll have a romance category to the list of rewards.
But you're unreliable, temperamental, and sickly, Mr. Poe.
We all suffer for our art.
Well, I guess all's well that ends well.
Hey, that's my line.
No one said I was a good mom.
She has a line.